Welcome, folks. Nick DiPaolo show on a Thursday. Another week in the books. Holy Jesus, I'll be dead soon. Yeah. Guys, you have no idea. You're in your 20s. You hit 30. That's when somebody steps on the gas. 30 to 40, you're going to go, what the fuck? And then 40 to 50, you go, are you kidding me? It's the best way to explain life is watching the water in a sink as it you pull the plug in the sink and it goes and it goes. And as it gets closer, it gets faster. That's the best analogy I can give you people. You'll be dead soon. Let's hope so, huh? The world's a shithole, and I actually avoid stories. The world is so ugly, and I enjoy ugly stories. That's all I'm saying. Hey, thanks to Donna Kent again yesterday, the mother of Shandor, who was Sabo, who was punched by an angry thug from Wake Forest. You know the whole story. Her son died. Can't thank her enough for calling in and sharing some of that with us. And during the interview, we had some technical problems yesterday. I'm defending the Twinks here because we're doing. You got to think about this as TV in 1957 when it just came out. This is all brand new stuff. During her interview, she had something running in the background on her end that we didn't know about. And then there was an echo on my end, but we test the stuff the Twinks do before the show, and everything sounds fine. So it's not always on our end. And just a couple people were going after the Twinks, and I want to defend them. They learned a ton in the last few months and have done a killer job. So just be patient. Don't be petulant little children. And there's only 2 of you out of thousands that fucking whine. And you're part of the problem, actually. We're doing, like I said, think of TV in 1955 or whenever it came out. So stuff's all cutting edge. And I had a couple people who have done podcasts for years who, told me, you're going to have problems. So don't, technically everybody does. So blah, blah, blah. So, the echo, we test all the shit before we do it. And so it's not their fault. And I just want you to know that. And we love, again, 98% of you understand that. So I thank you and welcome Patreon members. It's a Thursday, which means we're streaming on, Patreon. And
we'll do it live. Okay.
We do it live every night.
We'll do it live.
God fucking damn it.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Is that so
appropriate? Thing sucks.
Is that so appropriate for me? Might as well replace O'Reilly with me in that one. I'll write it. The fucking thing sucks. That's me yelling at my computer. That's me yelling at my cell phone, the fucking router, my television. I'm so tired of living in this. It must have been a bitch when the industrial age kicked in and people, that's what we're living through, folks. Only it's way more complicated. Thank you to Bill Gates and all the fucking other big four-headed freaks that I used to beat up in high school. What? Never hit anybody. It's a joke. 833-599-NICK. 833-599-6425. This Saturday night, I'll be performing at Bobby V's in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. So please come out. I sell that one out every time. I've sold out last 3 shows. 2 of them were small venues, but one was, 225 seats. Fucking sold out. And so this is good. This show is helping. That's all I want to do, folks. Come see me live. And there's nothing better than live stand-up. And I'll get to Louis C.K. He's back in the news, my old roommate. It's fucking so funny to start with a guy. He started like a year before me. He was about 18 years old when I met him. 19. I was 25. But just to watch a guy who he's still one of my closest friends in a bit. To watch the shit he's gone through and be that guy, when Woody Allen was the controversial figure, and he is that fucking guy. And he's brilliantly funny. He's a great dad, has 2 daughters. Yes, I fucking disagree with him whipping his dick out and shit, but the times we're living in, these feminists, do you ever stop your bitching and your whining? You know why you do that? You know why you go over the top with all this shit? Because it's never going to change unless the fellas want it to change. That's what's fucking driving your penis envy. Sorry to say that. But yeah, so Saturday night, Bobby V's. Friday, January 25th, the Comedy Palace in San Diego. That morning, I'm doing the Joe Rogan podcast. The following Monday, I'll be doing Dave Rubin's show. And then that Sunday, January 27th, Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. Friday and Saturday, February 8th and 9th, the Black Box in Boca Raton. I love gigs that I have never done before. They bring the best out of me. Friday, March 8th, Wood Theater, Glens Falls, New York. The March 9th, Cohoes Hall, Cohoes, New York. I'm shooting an hour. Jay that put all this together he's got a crew. The guy's been in TV forever. We're going to shoot it, put it out myself, do this independently. That's how the business is now. Everybody's doing their own thing, developing their own audience, and I cannot wait for that. Cohoes Hall I've done 3 times, and it's going to look so fucking... It's one of the oldest venues. Somebody told me it's the oldest theater in the country. It's gorgeous. It's going to look great, and I'll stink it up. Friday, April 26th, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at the Steel Stacks. And May 31st, Jonathan's in Algonquin, Maine, which I did. It was my favorite gig out of the Nick is Right tour. Saturday, June 1st, Whites of Westport, Mass. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that means, Whites of Westport. I'm sure somebody will be picketing just at the name, I'm hoping. Then Saturday, August 10th, Newtown Theater. I've done 3 times. Newtown, Pennsylvania, gorgeous little town. This beautiful theater on Main Street. I absolutely love what I do, for a living. Saturday, October 19th, Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut, which is my favorite. I was going to shoot 2 years ago. I was going to shoot a special there, but they already had somebody booked on the date. And But come out and see me live. It's like rock and roll, way better live. 833-599-6425 is the phone number. I always get people going, we love when you tell stories about your personal life, and we don't know enough about you, blah, 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 said the 2 girls who stalked me that weighed over 600 pounds each. Right? Ryan just went, I'll give it a shot. I don't give a shit if it's a girl or guy, 600 pounds. If the fucking guy's into some kinky shit, I'm giving it a shot. But people do. They always ask me about it. And I don't delve that much into it. In my stand-up, I never did do that much family stuff. I didn't want to get thrown into that because, every Italian comic, oh, we had the plastic on the couch, but we didn't. We didn't. Okay? I didn't want to get thrown into that. You do a lot of Italians? No, I don't. No, not when the black and white thing is fucking way bigger story. That's what I talk about. But people do ask me. They love that I played football with Mark Bavaro, future Hall of Famer, Bill Belichick's idea of the perfect tight end. There's a whole article talking about Gronkowski in the Boston Globe, and Bavaro weighed in, and Belichick still holds Bavaro. He was our tight end in high school. I'm a year older than him, and I was his captain. I told him where to be on Friday nights, and he totally ignored it. What am I going to get in a fight with him? But anyways, I grew up 22 miles north of Boston, 25 miles in a suburb of Boston, middle class, and we had 5 kids in the family. My dad probably never made more than $38,000 a year, but it started way before that when Rocco DiPaolo, my grandfather, that's my middle name, Rocco. That was what I was called in high school. It's funny, when I was a kid in like 2nd, 3rd grade, I would cry. Kids would tease me when they asked me my middle name. And I used to say, it's Jezebel. That's where they would tease me. Anyways, and my grandfather, Rocco DiPaolo, from the Abruzzo area in Italy, and they're known for their food. Imagine Italy is known for its food. That fucking part of Italy is known for its cooks. Give you an idea. And my grandmother was from not far from there. And my God. Anyways, here's a picture of my grandparents. You want to know where I get the miserable fucking attitude? Can we pull that up so it's just them, Jace, if possible? Take a look. That's Rocco and Matilda. I do a bit about, it's about funerals and wakes and my grandmother's funeral. And I described my grandmother. And I said she sort of looked like, in her prime, a young Bill Belichick. Holy shit. Now that I'm looking at it, that is spot fucking on. Put a headset on. She had the same attitude as Belichick, and that's a sweater that Belichick would wear. Put a headset on. She'll call it nickel defense. But take a look at that picture and tell me, 833-599-6425. What is wrong with that picture? I want you guys, if anybody's watching, to call in, not to mention my grandfather's missing his fingers on his right hand. He cut them off on a table saw, working for United Shoe in Beverly, Massachusetts, actually building the United Shoe. He fucking was using a table saw, ring, and he wrapped them. A guy told my dad, who knew somebody who worked there, he wrapped them in paper towels and tried to finish what he was cutting. Yeah, that would happen to a millennial. Cut his fingers off and tried to finish the job. And that's him in a good mood, by the way. That's him at his happiest. And but what's wrong with that picture? Anybody? Tell me what's missing in that picture, guys. Study it. I might have pointed out to you, or Priscilla did. What is missing? What is Ryan? What Ryan? Did you discovered it? What is it?
Where's your grandmother's leg?
Yes. Where the fuck is her other leg? This picture has been around for 40 years. Nobody can find it. Where is Matilda's other leg? She's like a fucking cardboard cutout with a stick at the bottom. Where is her other leg? I'm guessing it's her right leg that's missing. Jason, you're a fucking genius. Where is Matilda's other leg? I asked this on my original podcast 10 years. Nobody could answer me. Go ahead, Jace.
Maybe she was working on her balance and figured a picture was the good time to do it.
You're saying it's behind that leg.
Could be.
It can't be. You can see shit right to the leg, to the left of the leg that's exposed. You can see there's no fucking leg there. I'm pretty sure she had two legs. I've known her for a long time. I mean, if fucking Ryan can pick it out, who smokes a bag of weed a minute, I'm kidding, you know. But, I mean, what the fuck? It looks like a tomato stick with a sock on it. Where the fuck is her other leg? And that's the happiest she's ever been in her life, too. Right, any guesses, Ryan? 10.
Wherever your grandfather's fingers are?
That is true. There's a bunch of shit missing in this picture. There's a bag to the right with his fingers and her fucking leg. She didn't have a fake leg. She didn't take it off for the picture. Nobody can. You can see grass and whatever and even if it was behind that leg, you would see her going like this. What, did she make her thigh disappear? Oh, I just thought of something, which is actually hilarious. And there's no way she could do it because she's got to be 80 in that picture. She wasn't bending the leg up behind her like she was punting a football. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'll get to Drew in a second from Virginia. Drew says your family member's missing a hoof. Yeah, what do you call it? The hoof? The hoof. What the fuck? Rocco, listen to this. That's not even his first wife. He came over here 1905, I think, 1903, something like that. Married a woman who got sick and died. And a guy in Italy sent a picture of a woman that he said, you would like this woman after his first wife. How about him? He goes back to Italy and gets her. Now, it's not like he went and got on a plane. This is at the turn of the fucking... He got back on a boat to find a broad. How big were her tits? Going all... I think that's went all the way back to Italy and had to make that trip twice. I broke up with a girl in high school because the traffic was too much across town. Jesus Christ, what a love affair. I mean, fucking just... That's them in the garden. And you talk about old school. Listen to that. You guys are going to shit you. They're still laughing in there. What? Ryan, what?
I said I'd give an arm and a leg for commitment like that.
Oh, God. Fucking Paul Pun. Yes, maybe somebody did. But how hard is it to woo somebody in 1900? Oh, I guess it was probably in the 20s and 30s when his second wife. I mean, he goes, yeah, I have electricity and running water over here.
Say, I don't have polio. You want to go out?
Yeah, exactly. So, which is amazing. And but listen to this. You want to talk about old school? I would love how the feminists who are attacking Louis C.K. would enjoy this story. And this is true. They had I grew up next to these people. Okay, my parents, my mom is still in the house I grew up in, next to the house where these people lived, which my sister bought, and they gutted it and turned it into this beautiful house. Which is great when you can keep it in the family. But I grew up next to these people, and I'd go to school in the morning to get the bus at 7 in the morning. They would already be out in the garden. My grandmother would be on one side of the house, my grandfather on the other. And this is a true story, on the other side of the house. And they would not talk to each other. They'd be out there at 7 in the morning, and they'd get done around 6 at night. They wouldn't even talk to each other the whole day. And one day, my grandmother's upset, crying a little bit. My grandfather went around at the end of the day to see what she had done as far as all the plants she put in. He pulled them all up because he didn't like the way she did. Oh, his famous saying was, "Oh, the women are good for two things, the kitchen or the bedroom." And my grandmother go, "Yeah, at least I'm good for 2 rooms." She was no fucking dummy. She's a tough nut. She used to call down to our house at dinner time and go, my mother's name is Joan. She'd go, "Joe, get up here." My mother go, "Ma, we're having dinner." "Why?" "I say, get up here." And my mother would go running up thinking it's an emergency. She goes, "I want you to taste this." He was a fucking legend, and we were all scared of him. I know where I got my shitty attitude. I got all of his fucking DNA. And she was no day at the beach. She made Livia Soprano look like Tony Robbins as far as attitude goes. Means nothing to those guys. Morty and Rick, I don't know what the fuck they watch. 833-599-6425. And yeah, I mean, my grandmother, my Uncle Al said, my Uncle Al, who, was these people's son, said, he always used to tell us that Grammy smoked cigarettes. And we lived next to Grammy. We said, "Uncle Al, you're crazy. She is not a fucking smoker." Also, she had that smoky kind of laugh. He goes, "I'm telling you, I think she smokes. I've never caught her." And we used to say, "You're fucking crazy." When my grandmother passed away, my dad went down to their basement cleaning shit out. What's the first thing we found? 6 cartons of Marlboro Lights. That's how clever these old grease balls are. We lived next to. We used to pop in uninvited and shit. She had half her stomach removed from eating cherry peppers. I would go in the house. She'd be cooking. The smoke would literally. My dad would have to leave the house. Who loves hot because it would make you cry and cough like breathing bus fumes. And she had to have her stomach removed. And she would kill rabbits with her bare hands. We'd raise rabbits. My friends would come over. My friends would name the rabbits, and then my fucking Grammy would go. My friends would come back 3 weeks and say, "Hey, where's Spot?" I'd open the freezer. There's Spot on the left. You gotta be shitting me. We ate like, think about it. I didn't appreciate this as a kid. We would have rabbit over polenta. You know what that would cost at a Mario Batali's restaurant or fucking whoever? We'd have that for a Sunday for a snack. I mean, and he was fucking brutal. I mean, we used to tease him, and he had a scale he'd weigh tomatoes on, and we used to go up and the scale was on the table under a grapevine, which is still behind my sister's house from Italy. This, honest to God. And we used to put our hand on the scale, and he would fucking come flying out of the house trying to kill us, saying we're going to break the scale. I don't know how my dad grew up fucking but old Rocco was one tough bugger, as he said. He used to bowl, and he would throw the ball with his right hand, not big balls. We have something called candlepin in New England. The ball's about the size of a softball, and he would throw it with those 2 fingers and still beat us. And he would bring wine into the bowling alley. He never paid. They fucking loved him. And I love those people. You take this shit for granted. He came over and started this whole fucking mess. Let me go to Drew. We have a few other pictures come. I just wanted to fill you in on my background, so you wonder why I'm a fucking miserable and I get alone sometimes. Drew, that was a good line, man. Missing a hoof.
Yeah. So that's good too. But it looks like Rocco's also missing his FBI arrest number under his face for racketeering trial coming up too.
That's him in a
And
great
besides-
mood.
And beside the hoof that your grandmother's missing, she's also like I think you kind of mentioned. She's wearing Olivia Soprano's outfit too. There that I've seen Tony yelling at her about at the retirement home.
No, exactly. It's a retirement home, Mom. It's a hospital. Unbelievable and tough as nail. My grandfather. This is true. I came home. I used to go up and whack off in their bathroom. Like when I was like 14, 13. I'm sorry. I couldn't wait to get to my house. I go up in their bathroom for privacy. I went up there, and my grampy was laying on the floor in his long underwear in the bathroom. And I didn't know. He pretended he was like fixing the tub. So I go home 3 hours later, and I say to my dad at dinner, Grampy was... they go up there. My grandmother calls, and my father goes, he's still on the floor. He had fallen down, but he wouldn't tell me that. He would. I remember him. He was pretending he was fixing the tub or some shit. He literally, and I was like, I was gonna whack off. Get out of there. But that's a true story.
Too much wine or limoncello, maybe.
Yeah, he probably hit the fucking. That's the other thing, Drew. Great point. Thank you for the call, Drew. That was one funny line, brother. I fucking love you, man.
Good night.
All right. The tub. They had that tub with the feet on it. You know those lion's feet? Fucking. I can't see one of those now without getting a hard on. But he made his own wine. They would grow the grapes. I would step on the grapes. Me and my sister, we would step on the grapes. Like, this is old school Gindaluncia. In the basement, I would step on grapes in rubber boots, not bare feet. They would boil these boots. And then you step on the grapes that he grew, and he had a truck come down from a company to bring him some. And I would step on them. And one Easter morning, we did it on Easter morning, my sister came down with her Easter dress on and fucking fell in the grapes. And my father was screaming at her. I was laughing my balls off. And the fucking wine was like vinegar. That's why I can't find dry enough wine now when I have red wine. It has to be almost like red wine vinegar for me to like it. And I snuck down there and with a bottle. He had a whole thing. And with a tap on it once it fermented, and he asked me to fill his bottle, and I did. I took a sip, and I felt something on my tongue that I felt it running around, and it was an earwig. I spit it. Oh, that's nothing. That was his other saying. If it's smaller than you, you shouldn't be afraid. It's smaller than you. And me and my brother go, what about scorpions and fucking black widows? Which was lost in translation, obviously. I'll get into who lived across the street for them on another episode. I explained the Meldons, and Colin Quinn said it was the funniest shit I've ever done. And I got, even on the old podcast, I got so many likes, and please talk about the Meldons again. They were mentally ill, incestuous family. They had, they fucking and they had crazy. They were like the Addams family. With me and my brother throwing rocks at the rats in front of the house, and she would come out and go, you're scaring them. Dead fucking serious. Anyways, next picture. That was my dad's side. Here's my mom's side. That's Lucille Cudmore on the right. And that's my grandfather, who I never met. Why? He was killed by an oil truck. Him and his son, my Uncle Dickie, who I never met, was killed by an oil truck in my hometown. They were in one of those wood panel, like, station wagon things. And never got to meet him. He was like English or Scottish, and she's from, like, I don't know, Prince Edward Island, one of those islands off of Nova Scotia up there, or some fucking shit. She was tough as nails. He gets killed with his son. Can you imagine? And then a couple of years later, her other son, my Uncle Bob and Uncle Don, they were in a terrible car. It was such a bad accident. My uncle was the only one to survive because he was passed out in the back seat. The two people in the front seat were killed. This was all within a couple of years. And she survived all that shit. So I don't want to hear about your fucking whining, separating of families and bullshit. Look at him with a hat crooked. Looks like he's going to make a deal. I never got to meet him. But Lucille was my favorite grandmother. She died at, how old was she? She was 90-something. And she used to babysit me on Saturday nights. And when I was like 10 years old, I went to a high school football game. I ate 3 giant dill pickles and maple syrup candy. and I threw up violently. I threw up like I was on fucking heroin. I remember she was babysitting her and her friend Beth O'Keefe, who the minute she got to my house would start drinking the highballs. My grandmother's holding my hair going in French, "Oh, mon Dieu, what did you eat?" I thought I was going to fucking die. Yeah, that's fucking Lucille Cudmore, Lucy. And, yeah, my mother's side, they like their, my Uncle Bob was a fucking handful. I already told you those stories. My dad would bail him out. And here's my parents coming up. Yeah, my old man couldn't have been in casino. He couldn't have been one of the floor managers at fucking Harrah's. Look at him. Look at my mom. This is when they were in their fucking 60s, for Christ's sake. She cutie. She looked like Mary Tyler Moore in high school. My father looks like De Niro's fucking lost brother over there. He's got Fredo's suit on. And God bless him. Yeah, my dad will be 84 in October. He has Alzheimer's and pretty far into it, and it's kind of my mother never a sick day in her fucking life. I've yet to see her get sick. I remember one day when I was in probably junior high school, she had a car accident. She ran the stop sign, didn't even see it, and fucking T-boned somebody. Of course, my old man fucking made jokes about that for the next 1,000 years, and being the sensitive fellow that he was. And but my old man, if you like my comedy, my sense of humor, that's the guy to blame right there. He could riff like nobody's business. He would have company over. He'd be at the dinner table riffing, not stupid jokes like your parents make. He would like fucking riff, you know what I mean, till they were crying. And funny as all get out. And a disciplinarian and a Marine, by the way, who put up with no shit. In the 70s growing up when they had the energy crunch, if I left my bedroom lights on, I'd have 3 bruises on my back. But that's how it was. These softy generations of today have no fucking idea. Well, not everybody. Some parents are real fucking... But that's Big Nick, who once chased my sister Donna's boyfriend at a high school football game. This kid gave my dad the finger. I was right there. I saw... The kid had blonde hair. He looked like Axl Rose. And he fucking goes like this to my father. My father chases him out of the football game. The whole bleachers, instead of looking at the field, looking behind the stadium, my dad's chasing this kid. Grabs him by his hair and slaps him in the face. Woo! That's when he got labeled Big Nick. And then my sister Donna was a different boyfriend. I'm watching a baseball behind the junior high. I was probably 12 or 13. She's on the swing set making out with some kid. All of a sudden, my father pulls up in a pickup truck. He's like a fucking Italian redneck. Chases the fucking kid, took off to him, and he saw the truck because Big Nick showed up. And a fucking Marine to this day. Still has the tattoo and shit. But anyhow, just a little flavor. I'll get into the Meldons across the street from where I grew up. And people say it's the funniest fucking shit. But Rocco DiPaolo started it all, that nutcase.
You know you one crazy motherfucking wop, man.
We used to ask him about that. You know, I said, Grampy, why'd you pull up all of fucking Grammy's tomato plants? Fucking, of course, he would deny everything.
I don't know nothing about that.
And when I look at my dad, I just think of this sound.
What's the idea? Get upstairs. Sit down.
It's a true story. We're downstairs watching a hockey game, and I farted. But my dad didn't know I farted. There's no way. It was like a silent, And the dog was down there. So I tried to pin it on the dog, and he insisted it was me. And I said, there's no way you fucking know that. It got so fucking heated. I had to go upstairs. My buddy Bob is there. How awkward is that? I get thrown in my bedroom, and he came up. I smashed a lamp in my bedroom, and my mother yells, this is a famous quote, "Your son smashed his lamp, and he's not going on spring break to Fort Lauderdale." That's an exact quote. Old man comes up, grabs me by my fucking... I make a fist. I'm in high school now. I make a fist, and it was like a scene out of The Sopranos. Oh, now you want to fucking fight me? And I didn't. But he also, my neighbor, I've told this story. We had a cookout. My dad's playing like Neil Diamond. This guy who moved in next to us, wasn't even in the neighborhood a couple months, has the gall to come into our yard and tell my dad to turn down the stereo. My father was nice about it. He goes, okay, yeah, but. And when the guy left, my father, I could see he was I could see the hate in his eyes. Next day is Sunday morning. I wake up. I hear outside my bedroom window. I hear cursing. I pull the drapes. I pull the curtains off. My dad is on the lawn rolling around with this guy. The guy's on top of him, but my dad's got him in a fucking headlock. How can you not love a guy like that? This guy, this new neighbor, everybody hated his guy. He complained about the guy across the street who was a roofer, hardest working, best neighbor we had on the street. Would plow your driveways without asking. Guy was fucking 80 years old, still working. This guy complained to the town about his trucks being in the driveway. Just a fucking yuppie fuck stoon. And there's my dad choking him out. And then a couple weeks later, I'm going up to CCD class. The guy felt bad. He pulls up and he goes, you want to ride up the street? And I go, fuck off. Like the punk that I was. Mr. Cuculo. Anyway, so I'll give you more background. It gets really interesting. Here we go. Protests. A punch thrown and provocative jokes as Louis C.K. performs in San Jose. Comedy and punches. That's something that's something I can relate to. Good for Louis.
You're crazy! I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
That's Louis. Fucking love him. Listen to this. Will these feminist whores die? I really hope you get some type of fucking viral infection. Protesters gathered in response to Louis C.K.'s arrival at the San Jose Improv on Wednesday, and a man was punched in the face, and it wasn't me, as the controversial comedian began his first West Coast appearances since his career was derailed in the wake of sexual misconduct claims. The club's parent company released a statement saying they respect the protesters' right to assemble, but also respect Louis C.K.'s right to perform. Why don't you finish that and go, we respect the right of the almighty dollar. We could have Hitler show up and we're going to put him on if it's going to draw a crowd. Reports from inside the club suggest the comedian hasn't changed his approach. We know that from the governor's clip we played a couple weeks ago. At one point, he reportedly referenced his action that caused the most outrage, masturbating in front of women. So he's not exactly hiding from it. You know what that is? That's called the comedian. I love the fight. I love that he sat low for a while and said, fuck this. I'm going to come out fucking guns a-blaring. Get over your pussies. I'll say it again. And I'm not condoning that he pulled his prick out, but whatever. You've heard it. You know my take. About 30 protesters. Ooh, that's quite a throng of people. Many from the San Jose-based Enough is Enough voter project. Imagine. That's the name of your group. Enough isn't. Go ahead. Put the picture of the fucking dirty whores up there. There is no greater threat to women than men. That's in one of Louis C.K.'s jokes. So you're holding that against them for fucking being honest? There's no greater threat to democracy than the modern day feminists. How about that? Ching Tao Fing Yang. Fucking umbrellas. They have umbrellas. Anyways, we're out. We were out. This is a guy who got punched. We're out here protesting, doing our thing, said the injured protester, who identified himself as George, declined to give his last name. And the guy saw me, came up, and he was like, oh, yeah? Well, I think if you're out here protesting, you're a fucking pussy. And I was like, whoa, dude. Okay, screw you. And then he went for me. He punched me in the face. I can relate. Can we just think about this for a second? And why is it the comedians that are the flashpoint? There's plenty of songs out there, you know, especially hip hop. Why are you in front of some fucking famous rapper's house starting shit at one of their concerts? Yeah, we know why. Fucking two-faced who-is. Police interviewed the man, called himself George. He had multiple cuts. Who cares about George? I mean, fucking big deal. He has a pat. It says he hasn't appeared to soften his act. According to a report from the Daily Beast from inside the San Jose show Wednesday, the comedian opened his set with the line, I like to jerk off and I don't like being alone.
You are correct, sir.
Go, Louis.
You're crazy! I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
And while the Parkland jokes weren't included on Wednesday, the Daily Beast reported that he mined humor and racial stereotypes and developmentally disabled children. Is that what the Daily Beast said about comedy? Why don't you stay in your own lane, jerk-offs? That's the beauty of comedy. Everybody's a target. You left-wingers can't handle that. You're the assholes making this controversial. Because you're all for fucking shutting down the First Amendment. Why don't you just admit it? You're so anti-American, you make me fucking sick. Racial stereotypes? I haven't heard you say that about Chris Rock or any famous black comics, you fucking gutless, spineless, white pussies. Disabled children. What's funnier, I say? Disabled old people. How come you didn't quote the jokes, by the way? Reports from fans on social media were positive, even after the Daily Beast said that, including one witness. He said the comedian received a standing ovation at the beginning of his set. Case closed. Game over, feminists. Standing ovation when he was introduced. Guess it was a bunch of rapists and fucking pedophiles in here. Game over. Take you and your umbrellas and go home. The whole point of comedy, some guy said in the show, is to say things that you shouldn't say. No, actually, Louis said that. That's the entire point. And it is, but to make it funny, which he does. So what more do you want out of a comic? Oh, I know what you want. I know what you want. You want Howie Mandel. Put a condom on your head and blow it up. Fucking hilarious. Jeff Dunham and penis. Is that what you fucking want? How about Nanette? The group is called Enough. Enough is Enough's chair is Stanford law professor Michelle Dauber. Boy, I bet you she's a fucking blast at parties, huh? A law professor from Stanford, a chick. Wonder how she votes. Not too predictable. Dauber, here's her credentials, who led a protest against Judge Aaron Persky. Well, what was he guilty of? He gave a lenient sentence to Brock Turner, a former Stanford student, a white boy, convicted of 3 counts of sexual assault. Persky lost his job after more than 60% of the Santa Clara fucking sheep people voters cast ballots to remove him from the bench. Dauber said Louis C.K. should have expected protests. You don't think he did? Oh! Is that her? That's her? Look at that piece of ass, huh? Ugh. She has hated men since she looked in the mirror when she was 6. Sorry. Nice to have Shemp Howard on board. Look at that. Do something with your hair. Put on some lipstick and goddamn it, make me a fruit salad. Look at her. Look at that humorless. That should be the face of the feminist movement. Humorless. Once again, I guess it's a coincidence. 8 out of 10 fucking, ardent feminists look like her. They all have the face of the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, Kelsey. Look at her. Has she ever had a good day in her life? It's not our fault. It's not our fault that you look like every fucking Irish cop in 1940. Let's see what she has to say about this. Dauber said Louis C.K. should have been expected. This is clearly a community, listen to this, that feels extremely strongly in opposition to sexual harassment. Can you point out the community that's for sexual harassment, Ms. Dauber? Can you? And sexual violence. Oh, so now pulling your penis out in front of some women who stayed and watched a mess, that's violence. Can you help me out with that, how that's violence? Ms. Dauber, hello? Hello, Dauber? I was surprised you said because he's an admitted serial sexual harasser who caused a lot of damage to the careers of women comedians. Oh, the women comedians, they were forced up to his room at gunpoint, some of them. And once again, the victims, because they're chicks, have no accountability for their own behavior. And again, I have not condoned Louis' behavior. I've condemned it. But I'm just saying, to compare to sexual violence. So what he did, he's a rapist in your mind, in your twisted Stanford left-wing dog shit mind. I think allowing him to come here is the same kind of old boys network in the comedy clubs that allowed Bill Cosby to be a predator for so many years. Oh, is that what you think? Well, that's good. This is what I think of you.
You are a cunt, 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 cunt. If that's stinking cunt. Say it ain't true, but let me tell you, you're a motherfucking cunt. You are a cunt, 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 cunt. Motherfucking cunt. Everybody knows from your head to your toes, you're a big fat stinking cunt.
833-599-6425. Miss Dauber. Look at her. She never had a chance. Can't fucking help herself. Improv comedy clubs, which has more than 24 locations, released a statement to the Chronicle on Wednesday defending the decision to book Louis. We see comedy as the final frontier, and we don't censor artists. They're full of shit, too. Because if I went up there and did racial shit and somebody complained, they wouldn't have me back. They wouldn't have a Kurt Metzger back who talks about rape and shit. So they're full of shit, too. The reason they're cutting Louis slack is because he's going to sell a zillion tickets. So stop with your two-face horseshit, too. We want them to perform without scrutiny. Again, you fucking lied. We trust that our audiences can decide for themselves what their limits are. We understand that our chicken fingers aren't the best. What? No. We understand that not everyone will agree with our decision, and we respect their right to protest. We also respect Louis C.K.'s right to perform. And you do. And you do, but let's not fucking forget the other part of the formula. You're making fucking mucho dollars on it. On a slow night where you'd have, Kevin Tomlinson from Oklahoma. That's all. But Miss Dauber, kiss my grits.
You are a cunt.
Sexual violence. What did he do? Did Louis punch these bras? Get him in a chokehold before he pulled his prick out? Where's the violence? Help me, please. The only violence that happened is when your douchebag protesters came out and you are ugly. Somebody show me a pretty feminist, please. Somebody show me, please. I've yet to meet a stripper who's an ardent feminist. You notice that? It's all the broads, again, with 5 o'clock shadows and feet like Clydesdale that just, they never stop their fucking whining. It's not like I'm dumb, I'm smart. And I want respect. Let's go to the next story. Oh, Michael Cohen. He hired a IT firm to rig early CNBC drudge polls to favor Trump. I don't even know where this story came from. I don't have to fuck up. Michael Cohen, we love him.
You're crazy! I'm not.
No, you're not. You're fucking...
Hey, no. Fucking rat anyways. Whole family's all rats. Would have grew up to be a rat.
He did grow up to be a rat. Why are they still listening to him? Behind the scenes, Michael Cohen hired Redfinch Solutions, then allegedly stiffed it, and his boss. In his Trump Organization office, Mr. Cohen surprised the man, this is a guy who worked for Redfinch, John Gauger, by giving him a blue Walmart bag containing between $12,000 and $13,000 in cash. That's how I got paid off when I was gambling. Randomly, a boxing glove that Mr. Cohen said has been worn by a Brazilian mixed martial arts fighter. Either that or he found it on the side of the road. Mr. Dirty Rat Cohen disputed that he handed over a bag of cash. He said all monies paid to Mr. Gauger were by check. Mr. Gauger owns Redfinch Solutions, and his chief information officer at Liberty University in Virginia, where Jerry Falwell, evangelical leader and fervent Trump supporter, is president. Mr. Gauger said he never got the rest of what he claimed he was owed. But Mr. Cohen, in early 2017, still asked for and received a $50,000 reimbursement from Mr. Trump and his company for the work by Redfinch, according to a government document and a person familiar with him. Why don't you tell us who the person is? That's a problem. Ben, the two of us, we look no more. We both found what we were looking for. With a friend to call my own, I'll never be alone. And you, my friend, will see. You got a friend in me. Look at that fucking rat. It's got a ball patch on its ass. That has to be a New York rat. People hate him. I don't know. I feel when I look at a rat, I'm like, oh. Where's the slice of pizza he's chasing? Look at the fucking tail on that. That's the grossest thing. Anyways, back to the fucking rat. He never got the rest of his mind. After the article was published Thursday morning, Mr. Cohen said in a tweet that he attempted to have the polls rigged with Mr. Trump's knowledge. And you guys are going to believe that? Look at the face of that fucking tuba. He says, what I did was at the direction of and for the sole benefit of Mr. Trump, Mr. Cohen wrote. I truly regret my blind loyalty to a man who doesn't deserve it, is what he said.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Rudy Giuliani said, this dirty Jew prick, oh, fuck no. Giuliani said, a lawyer for Mr. We know he's a lawyer for Mr. Trump, said of Mr. Cohen's tweet. This is what Giuliani said. My response to that will be a cleaned up version of bullshit. I fucking love Rudy. Love him.
You are correct, sir.
Prosecutors wrote in a charging document that when Mr. Cohen, here's where it gets interesting, asked the Trump Organization executives for $130,000 reimbursement for a hush payment he made to Stormy Daniels, he also scrawled a handwritten note asking for $50,000 he said he spent on tech services to aid Mr. Trump's campaign. Prosecutors didn't name the company providing those services, but people familiar with the matter says it was Red Finch. Mr. Gauger said that though Mr. Cohen promised him lucrative work for the presidential campaign, his activities related to Mr. Trump consisted of trying unsuccessfully, and that's the operative word, unsuccessfully, to manipulate 2 online polls in Mr. Trump's favor, but he did it unsuccessfully. So during the presidential race, Mr. Cohen also asked, listen to this one, this is how you know Cohen's a psycho, also asked Mr. Gauger to create a Twitter account called @WomanForCohen. The account, created in May of 2016 and run by a female friend of Mr. Gauger, described Mr. Cohen as a sex symbol, praised his looks and character, and promoted his appearances and statements, boosting Mr. Trump's candidacy. So this was all about pussy, Cohen? I mean, is that what this is all about? You fucking nuts.
You're crazy!
I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
When Mr. Cohen requested the $50,000 reimbursement for technology services, he didn't tell the Trump Organization executives what specific services were performed, and they didn't ask people familiar with the matter, which tells me that Trump knew nothing about it. Once again, more smoke, no fucking fire. The reimbursement he obtained for the deal with Miss Clifford, that's Stormy, and the technology work was paid to him over the course of a year and characterized by the Trump Organization as legal fees, though it didn't pertain to any legal work he performed at the time, prosecutors said. Overall, Mr. Cohen was paid $420,000, mostly for Mr. Trump's personal account, including $180,000 to reimburse him for the Stormy Daniels and Red Finch. Richard Hasen, an election law expert and law professor at University of California, Irvine, said Mr. Cohen had an obligation to disclose the payment to Red Finch as an independent expenditure if it was for campaign-related work he didn't discuss with the Trump campaign. So that proves my point again. Trump didn't fucking know about it. This is all you got after 2 years? This is the big reveal? This fucking known liar who's lied how many times now? Anybody? Somebody help. Somebody argue me back here. What am I Mr. Cohen asked Mr. Gauger for help with services intended to elevate positive content and internet search results for himself and for friends, Mr. Gauger said. While he didn't pay for most of what Mr. Gauger did, Mr. Cohen often promised to connect Red Finch with executives at Mr. Trump's hotel and golf course businesses, though he never did. What a rat this fucking Cohen is. In January 2014, Mr. Cohen asked Mr. Gauger to help Mr. Trump score well in a CNBC online poll to identify the country's top business leaders by writing a computer script to repeatedly vote for Mr. Trump. Mr. Gauger was unable to get Mr. Trump into the top 100 candidates. In February 2015, as Mr. Trump prepared to enter the presidential race, Mr. Cohen asked him to do the same for a Drudge Report poll of potential Republican candidates. Mr. Gauger said Mr. Trump ranked 5th with about 24,000 votes, or 5% of the total. After making the cash payment at Trump Tower, Mr. Cohen kept saying he would pay the balance of the $50,000, but never did, Mr. Gauger said. Mr. Cohen also promised to get Red Finch work for Mr. Trump's campaign. He set up 2 phone calls to Mr. Gauger with campaign officials who didn't hire him, he said. Again, another shitburger. Mr. Gauger said he last spoke with Mr. Cohen in April of 2018, shortly after the raid by federal agents. He said Mr. Cohen told him in the investigation, Mr. Cohen told him the investigation was about taxes and how he had accessed money from some of his accounts. It's not a big deal, Mr. Cohen said to Mr. Gauger, lying through his dirty fucking rat teeth. Where's the big get? Where's the big in that? Am I just being? I'm trying to look at it as objectively as I can, folks. They keep coming up with shit burgers. Is that one of fucking Mueller's big? I don't know. Buddy Ron Ebel is on line 2. Ronnie, what do you got for us, fella?
Hey, Nick, there's this the PETA thing that came out a couple of days ago about how the headline is traditional masculinity is dead, the secret to male sexual stamina is veggies, and if the twinks have it for you, I think you take a look at it.
Fellas, Ron's beating you to the punch. You got to find these. I don't know where he gets them. It's up to you guys. You are the producers to find this shit. I don't. I'll give that job to Ryan. Well, I don't need it now. He's drawing his attention. I'm saying, get me, Ryan? You can send me these stories. You can do that. I know I get you doing other shit, but PETA and Ron, is there not an agenda? I mean, it's so funny. We used to mention, there's an attack on white males or whatever. Now it's getting so specific, and nobody's trying to hide that fact. I'd love to know who wrote this. Traditional masculinity is dead? I don't know. Talk to millennial broads, like in the audience at a comedy club. They would disagree. They like fucking real men. Am I right?
Oh, they like real men? Sure.
Thank you for backing that up.
Yeah, but like you said.
Go ahead.
Yeah, women always hate it when I say sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the culture war. You know, I mean, the left just keeps running up the score, and there's nothing left on the right, basically, but they won't stop because this is their bread and butter now. This is what they do on the internet. That's all some of them have in terms of getting a job, I think.
But that's the bigger point. They have the internet and the mainstream media. They have the blowhorn. That's the point. They could be making all these fucking points, but if they didn't have the fucking blowhorn in their hand and the loudspeaker, nobody would hear these fucking points. But fuck you. Thank you, Ron, not you. Thank you for the call. And, I'm so fucking tired of it. Really? Traditional masculinity is in the past? So you want gayer men? Is that the future? You want fucking guys who can't protect you and wouldn't and have no fucking balls? Think about that for a second. They have no concept of history. Who saved this fucking planet? The greatest generation ever, World War II, from fucking Nazi Germany. Yeah, and totalitarianism and fascism. That wasn't fucking... It wasn't milquetoast guys, okay? But that's all in the past, in the rearview mirror. Is that what you're saying? Because what, the world is less dangerous now? Is that right? Fucking Ryan Seacrest and his friends are going to protect us? Or fucking, what are you talking about? I don't care what generation girls. They want a real guy. It's like, this is how I look at it. Like libertarians, we want the government to stay. Women want guys to stay out of life. They need them for a few things, to maybe protect them physically. And I can actually hear some feminists fucking passing out right now and landing on their hairy asses. They don't need guys for much, for fucking sex, and even then there's toys and shit now. Hey, hi everybody. But that is such horseshit. They like a traditional guy. I know that I've dated a few guys. A couple of Navy SEALs. Yummy. Ryan, are you with me? Who's going to protect the government? You fucking Weinberg? That's from A Few Good Men. Guys, have you seen that one? A Few Good Men?
Nah.
What are they watching? I don't know.
I can't handle the truth.
There you go. How'd you know that was from that?
Jason does.
Gotta watch that one, guys. Seriously, it's fucking Nicholson at his best.
I do love Jack Nicholson.
If you like Nicholson, how can you say that and not have seen A Few Good Men? I mean, holy Christ. So traditional masculine. But they can't wait. There's this wet dream that women, fucking black women and brown women are going to run the world along with some white fucking hippie chick. You guys, it's not going to happen. We're not going anywhere. You've cornered a rat. White people aren't fucking enough. We're not replacing ourselves as far as population goes. But the ones of us who are here, the traditional guy, who do you want, Pete Holmes? Somebody breaks into your apartment, Pete Holmes gonna defend you? Or fucking Judd Apatow? Is he gonna see? Guy couldn't change a flat fucking tire. I asked Ryan to mail a letter yesterday. He goes, I've never mailed a letter. Go ahead,
I grew up with email. I've never had to mail anything.
Oh, suck a dick. I grew up with email.
No one's ever asked me to.
Huh?
No one's ever asked me.
Yeah,
to mail
nobody's
anything.
ever asked me to blow a goat, but I know how. Wait, that came out wrong. What the fuck? I really shot myself in the foot there. Don't use that as a... That's the other thing. You fucking, I'll do a joke on stage about, I don't know, fucking something that happened 8 years ago. And a kid goes, I was 8 years old. Yeah, and I was 5 when we landed a man in a moon, but I fucking read a book and fucking... I don't know. I wasn't born when Kennedy... Yeah, but he got shot in the head. There's been a lot of news about it. Yes, it's snail mail. And by the way, they process 1 billion pieces a year, more than that. So, let's not pretend it's gone away. But I don't know what my point was. I can't wait for this week to end. I want to just shoot myself in the neck with a fucking poison dart. I love the Twinks, by the way. And don't be blaming them for all the shit. How about Ryan crawling across that fucking Chinese water garden?
My knees hurt.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with that piece. That's homophobic. Good! Lick a bag of balls!
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I just hit that by accident. Paul Lynn, weigh in, will you please?
Can most people accept laughter during romantic encounter?
I think they prefer applause.
La 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 la. I watch The Five every once in a while, and I love how these people are sitting at the table and making points that I fucking made like 2 days ago. Yet they're on TV and they're famous. And anyways, 833-599 suck a bag of cheese. 833-599-6425. Oh, what's the headline here? NYPD infiltrated the Black Lives Matter movement by using undercover agents and other sources to track the activist movements while calling them idiots. That's the fucking headline. They use the word idiots and ninjas to describe Black Lives fucking Matters. And that is a headline in the New York Post, which is turning very left-wing when it comes to race.
There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind.
One identified officer, unidentified officer, also claimed that ninjas was among the protesters. This is fucking news. BLM, Black Lives, who are responsible for cops being shot all over the country. I don't give a fuck what you say. Ninjas spotted at Foley, the officer wrote in an 8 p.m. email. That redacted the sender, prompting a colleague to respond. We were talking about people with swords and masks earlier. Are you serious about that? The first officer answered, not sure about serious. What do you consider a ninja? This is so controversial, huh, New York Post? Go online in New York Post, and they have videos of racial incident. It's all fucking white racism. The headlines are what that's the right-wing paper here in New York City. Oh my God. It's just fucking... about 2 hours later at 10 p.m., an officer reports on one of several covert operators tracking several groups of protests, Black Lives Matter, around the city. He says over the thing, Team 5 undercover states one group is on Charles Street and the other group is proceeding northbound on the West Side Highway. By 1 a.m., at least one officer was fed up with the demonstrations, writing, still idiots up in Times Square. Wow. Let's get him off the force. This is fucking news in the New York Post. A subsequent following email reveals the department's covert connections with the movement. Realistically, this is a cop talking. If our sources are not going to have anything significant to contribute tonight, cut them loose. I still got OCCB, that's Organized Crime Control Bureau, on the job. Jason, are you getting this is a story.
Yeah, I guess if it starts with an N and ends with an A, it's close enough to be controversial.
Thank you very much. That's a good fucking point and a good joke. I'd say that was the best joke that Jason has come up with since I fucking met him. I wish I thought of that myself. I'm going to give him a payday bar for...
I mean, it is a private show, so you can take credit if you want.
It's what? No, I don't take credit for anybody's funny thoughts. I don't have to do that. Can you imagine? Black Lives Matter. Fucking just race-hating fucking racist black people. Let's call it what it is. And the cop had the gall in a couple emails. He was idiot and ninja. Do you remember when we could joke about race and shit? I know these guys don't. They're too young, but let me bring you back in time to Don Rickles at a fucking roast. And
I laugh at the blacks, the whites, the purples. Mostly the blacks. Remember the words of George Foreman, who said after the Muhammad Ali fight, was I down? Let me taste that, Sam. To the black people, remember the words of a great Negro, Johnson Jones, who said in Biloxi, Mississippi on a Saturday night, if the white man and the Negro can work in harmony, the people know that the white folk and the man is harmony with love.
round of applause. Today be getting thrown tomatoes at him.
The man is now in a state hospital. We laugh. Why do we laugh? Black or white?
Because we must laugh.
That's right. Look who became the priest.
That was Dean Martin.
No, you're Catholic and I'm a Jew, and Sammy, you're black. I'm sorry. Remember the words of a great Negro. I say that honestly. All peoples are alike. We are all working. You live in my neighborhood. I live in yours. Right, Sam?
Right.
Are you crazy?
Uproarious laughter. But the people picketing Louis C.K., they would shut that down. And civil rights and Cummings and all these old black folk, Maxine Waters, all these fucking anti-American Marxist cocksuckers would have that type of language shut down. And the left is just, how you vote Democrat is beyond me, because that's what they stand for. They're fucking sickening. And I've had enough of them for the week. That's all I have to say. Fellas, anything else?
Nope.
I'll hit it with one more short one. Here you go. A 33-year-old man from upstate New York who was facing sexual assault charges claimed it was his clothing that got an 11-year-old girl pregnant.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
You are correct, sir.
After a DNA test determined that Robert Cronin was the baby's father. When they say the baby's father, I'm like, do they mean the girl he slept with? Or the Cronin didn't dispute the results, but insisted he had never had sex with a child. I don't want to be known for a crime I didn't commit. Yeah, well, then don't do it. Cronin claimed the girl with whom he was acquainted became pregnant after coming in contact with clothing he had used while masturbating.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
Diane, did you sit on that towel? You didn't sit on that fucking sofa, did you? Anybody seen my turtleneck with the jizz stains on it? Sir, you have no chance. If this guy gets off, and I don't mean into a towel or a dress shirt, I mean if he gets off legally, I will put a gun in my mouth on this show. It'll be shaped like a big gun. That is the saddest. I can't want to see the lawyer that defends this guy. He told the station he realizes his story may be difficult for some to understand.
You are correct, sir.
Oh, my God. He says, but the police who arrested him were just lacking scientific knowledge. Let me get this straight. The cops, she's pregnant, your DNA, you're saying it was a sweat sock that she was wiping herself. But the cops lacked the... That's like she sat on a toilet seat that I, spanked it on. That was a big concern with AIDS. Can you get it from a toilet seat? Only if a Haitian choreographer took a big dump on it, but sir, you got to be dog styling me. You're going to jail for a long time. Maybe you'll be next to that crazy broad from Delamore, whatever the fucking... police in Niskayuna. I recognize the name. I've done gigs up there. Niskayuna, about 20 miles northwest of Albany. That's how I know my career is skyrocketing. Arrested and charged him with endangering the welfare of a child and felony predatory sexual assault against a child younger than 13 and ruining a perfectly good jacket. Cronin, who has 5 children with his fiancée, 3 of them conceived from sweat socks and dirty jeans, was being held at Schenectady County Jail. The girl gave birth recently, and both she and the baby and the dirty towel are doing just fine. Should probably end it on that. All I got to say is this.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Patreon members, thank you so much for tuning in. Seriously. I need the fucking money. I can't. I'm tired. I don't want to get on a plane. I don't know what to do about the crime. I don't know what to do. But seriously, show's growing by leaps and bounds. We got to get some clips out there. I got to take a lesson from Owen Benjamin. Are we having him on Monday, do you know? I think Owen Benjamin, brilliant guy, actually too smart for the idiots that come out to comedy clubs. But I think we'll have him Skype in. We'll test it again, but don't get mad at us if fucking, if Owen Benjamin has a, his wife's in the background churning her own butter. We can't get that noise. Anyways, thank you guys so much. We'll see you on Monday. Remember, you think it, I will say it. You're very welcome. I'll talk to you on Monday. Take care of yourselves.